Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar with Fundamental Brands. Today, we will be covering the people behind the portfolio, giving attendees a chance to meet the Fundamental Brands leadership team. As a note, today's webinar will be recorded, and the replay will be sent out as a follow-up. Additionally, please feel free to type any questions you may have throughout into the chat for our team to answer live at the end of our session. We'll pause for a moment here, but everyone can also find this note on our website for a deeper review. Today, you'll hear directly from the people building Fundamental Brands, their backgrounds, their philosophy, and why they're here. Now, I will pass it over to our founder and executive chair of the board, Jack Takacs, to walk everyone through an intro to Fundamental and an introduction to himself and the team as well.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for all joining. Today, you'll get a chance to meet our team of full-time experienced executives who've come together over the last 4 years, actually, as founders of Fundamental Brands to execute an acquisition strategy that will take advantage of the growth in cosmetics, fragrance, and the wellness industry. Epi is no longer a startup, and we'll be making a series of formal announcements over the next few weeks. Let me just share with you a small preview of some of those announcements. Number one, we'll be announcing additional acquisitions of companies that have sales of $30 million annualized. Number two, we'll be rolling out some of our products in partnership with a national chain where it will be going into their almost 9,000 stores, our products under the chain's brand name. We'll also be announcing the acquisition of our own manufacturing facility. This is intended to bring manufacturing of some of our products back to the US and be very helpful to us in time to market, which is becoming such an important thing, especially in the retail chains. Number four, we also will be announcing the acquisition of a few additional big brand names that we will be licensing and producing products under their brand. You'll know some of these brands. I think you'll find it very interesting. So let me speak for a moment about our strategy. Our strategy is very straightforward. We're acquiring companies, recognizable brands, and quality products with the following attributes. One, the company must have current sales of between 1 and 50 million annualized. Two, the company has to have owners, founders, management who will become shareholders of FB and remain to continue to run their company as a subsidiary of FB, Fundamental Brands, supported by our shared services and online marketing capabilities. Number three, companies that are doing well in retail store channels and will substantially benefit from FB's ability and our marketing team's ability, who you'll meet soon, to expand their distribution and their products to online sales. Also, our target is companies that can become subsidiaries of FB and can work together with our other subsidiaries to cross-sell each other's retail stores. In other words, one subsidiary gets another subsidiary product in the stores that they have many years relationships with. So that's a little overview. Let's now meet our team of founders and management who have made this all possible.
Thank you, Jack. Eddie Clayman, one of our founders and board members, was unfortunately able to make it today, but as a 32-plus-year CEO with a proven track record of durable growth, he is well equipped to provide strategic oversight, investor alignment, aid in scaling strategy, and provide executive mentorship, amongst other priorities within the company. You'll get the chance to meet him at a later date shortly. And now I'd love to introduce Sam Genovese, our founder, board member, president, and CSO.
Thank you, Allison. Good afternoon, everyone. And to build on Jack's comments, as president and CSO and co-founder, I spent the last 4 years building a strategic architecture that allows our brands to scale. My approach is rooted in my background as a licensed pharmacist for over 25 years. That clinical foundation has allowed me to enter different sectors of the industry, from building wholesale companies to managing a $150 million supply chain structure to overseeing manufacturing of sterile injectable products used nationwide. It's why we've been able to scale, as Jack mentioned, upwards of $30 million in projected revenue very rapidly. We're applying that type of precision into the space for consumer brands. We achieve this by identifying good brands with high equity and plugging them into a high performance model. We don't look at brands just to put them in as a balance sheet entry, but really as a strategic fit to accelerate our growth. A cornerstone of that strategy, as Jack alluded to, is the integration of manufacturing along with 3 strategic partners. We have effectively reduced the problems in the supply chain that really throttle smaller brands. But this just isn't about production. It's about research and development. It's about owning the manufacturing process. As Jack also alluded to, we are launching at the end of the month a new product formulation for a national retail chain with over 8,900 locations, as well as an online presence. This is an immediate validation of what we had set out to do for Fundamental Brands. This launch not also debuts our formulation prowess, but also our ability to quickly scale within the supply chain strategy. We built a circular model where brands just don't exist side by side. They actually fit and collaborate. With that, our motto is to take brands from good to great.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam. And now I would like to introduce Clay Shiver, our EVP of Investor Relations.
Thank you, Allison. I'm excited to be on the team and excited about what is happening here at Fundamental. Give you a little bit about my background. I just entered my 25th year of working with entrepreneurs and executive leaders. And in those 25 years, it's been a growth process for me and many of the companies that I've worked with. And it's been exciting as you come into an opportunity like this to see the potential that is available, that is moving from theory into reality. So I met Sam about 4 years ago, and in some of our first meetings, we began to talk about the opportunities that were available in the fragrance and wellness and topical cream space. And I was just impressed, like, wow, this thing is really beginning to move forward. And then now, as I've come alongside them and come on the team with them, you can really see, as I said, moving from theory to reality. And as an investor, potential investors that are interested in this space, it's not something that, is you're still early on to maximize your opportunity, but yet you're not getting something, again, that's in a theory place, that there is real revenue behind this. And that's the exciting part, is that you're catching a train that is already moving, but yet still early enough that you can maximize your potential. So I'm excited to be a part of this. I'm excited to see the team that is formed. Jack and Sam and Mark have put together, and excited to see what is happening with these brands as not only just acquiring the brands, but actually accelerating their growth and into this roll-up strategy. So thank you, Allison. And with that being said, I pass it over to Mark.
Super. Thanks, Clash. Hi, I'm Mark Palman, CEO of Fundamental Brands, and I'm excited to speak to you today about our team. I'll briefly cover 3 topics. 1, my experience. 2, succeeding in the marketplace. And 3, my accountabilities. So first, my experience. I'm very fortunate to have succeeded in a number of the world's largest and most successful consumer products companies, including Unilever, Avon, Revlon, and Chobani. In addition, I have a proven track record scaling companies from 2 million to 50 million, driving growth, cash, and profitability. And finally, I've led acquisitions and a similar roll-up strategy with very successful results. Number 2, succeeding in the marketplace. In our first webinar, I talked to you a little bit about 2 founders who specifically said some of the benefits of joining the Fundamental Brands umbrella to help accelerate their brands and businesses. So to reiterate, at Fundamental Brands, we're solving 3 broad areas in helping companies to scale. First, focus. Helping to shape and guide the vision and the endpoint for these companies, along with the strategy of how to get there. What are the steps and the milestones? Secondly, cash and capital allocation. Under the umbrella, we take all of the best projects because the founders' incentives are aligned to make Fundamental Brands successful in total. And third, we bring expertise. Expertise in people, processes, and performance that helps drive speed of innovation and execution to market. And finally, my role. My role is to drive vision and strategy, winning in the marketplace through acquisition, integration, scaling, and expansion. And finally, driving efficiency, access, and expertise. Efficiency in a common backbone, processes and systems, access through sales channels, e-commerce, and international distribution, and expertise in digital marketing, brand building, sales, product development, and manufacturing. With that, I'm very excited about the talent on our team, and let me introduce our CFO, Scott Matheny. Scott.
Hello, my name is Scott Matheny, and I bring a wealth of experience in accounting and finance from small and mid-sized growth companies. Previously, I was the head of finance for 2 companies from inception to acquisition by top 5 Fortune 500 companies, and I assisted a 3rd company demonstrate their competitive edge of using data to improve healthcare outcomes, which effectively affected its acquisition. As a CFO of a managed care company and also a wellness products company, I drove the product strategy and initiatives and effectively collaborated with operations. My role at Fundamental Brands is to oversee the accounting and finance functions and drive growth, manage treasury and budgeting, and prepare financial documentation. I will manage a system of controls and submit quarterly reporting to the SEC to ensure transparency.
Thank you, Scott. And I'm Allison Mosca, Chief Marketing Officer of Fundamental Brands. I've spent my career leading integrated brand and media strategy across categories like CPG, beauty, alcohol, banking, and OTC, working across both top agencies and brand side teams. Over that time, I've managed more than $100 million in media annually across multi-brand portfolios, primarily during periods of high growth and transformation. My focus has always been on translating data and insights into real business outcomes, driving measurable revenue growth, improving efficiency, and building brands that are positioned to scale. One of my core areas of expertise is working with brands that have already proven success in one channel, whether that's retail, wholesale, or in-store, and helping bring them online in a meaningful way. That includes building out their D2C and social presences, strengthening digital marketing strategy, and creating scalable acquisition and retention engines that unlock new revenue streams. At Fundamental Brands, these experiences translate into leading our portfolio-wide growth engine. That means developing a centralized, scalable approach to marketing and distribution that we can apply across every brand we acquire. I've known Sam for over a decade and Jack for 3 years now, and have been in discussions to bring Fundamental to life for the last few years. It's a very, very exciting time to be pushing this forward as a team. Currently, I oversee a team of 5 encompassing marketing and sales, focusing on creative, brand execution, performance marketing, and expanding sales distribution. We're focused on accelerating growth through shared insights, unified resources, and a disciplined performance marketing framework, ultimately driving faster, more efficient, and more profitable growth across the entire portfolio. And now I'd like to introduce Gary Leonard, our Chief Legal Officer.
Hi, it's nice to be here. My name's Gary Leonard. I've been a corporate attorney for over 30 years. That career has spanned both in law practices and in the in-house capacity. I prefer the in-house capacity in the sense that it combines both legal with business outcomes. And I enjoy that a lot more. And I've served in that function in Fortune 500s, middle market, startups, and in early stage. To a certain extent, I'm a corporate generalist, which means I provide the day-to-day legal services that Fundamental and now each succeeding subsidiary would require, and this helps obviously keep down our reliance on outside counsel and the bills that they submit. But my primary focus has always been in acquisitions, and I have participated in acquisitions essentially around the world, particularly LATAM and in the EU and in the US. And that has primarily focused around businesses that are tech related, tech savvy, and has incorporated data privacy and things like that, which come into play a lot here with Fundamental as we support Allison's online and digital marketing and sales growth. I also help with the SEC and the investment vehicles, putting together with Jack the current offering, which provides a stream of monthly income and with an equity kicker so that an investor does not have to decide between current income and upside. In our case, they get both. And I work with the negotiation, drafting, and finalizing closing of the acquisitions that we're doing, whether they be company acquisitions, asset acquisitions, or brands. Sometimes this is in the form of a stock purchase or an asset purchase. Sometimes it's a licensing arrangement where we take well-known names that Jack, I think, had mentioned, and we use them and we create products for them and use their distribution channels. Part of the acquisition work includes the post-acquisition integration of the companies. And that's where the benefit of the Fundamental structure comes into play. We can cross-pollinate all the different products, their source of ingredients, their source of packaging, their source of labeling, their distribution channels, and augment what is usually a smaller part of their current sales channels is the online growth. And I work with data privacy and website and e-commerce to fulfill those needs, which includes also back office payment processing and things like that. Um, we have a number of acquisitions that we're currently working on. We have some that are extremely close to being signed, which I think you'll hear about shortly. And there's different brands and companies that are in the pipeline at all times in different stages. Not all of them become candidates. Uh, we try to make sure that we are adding to the portfolio of brands, and 1+1 is 3, not 2, and that's what we work for. I also additionally serve as a general compliance officer in the sense of the FDA requirements, which and the OTC requirements that and labeling and claims that we make on the products and the marketing too that goes out to the general public. I'm excited to be here. I greatly enjoy the acquisition roll-up model, and I think that it provides a benefit to all the founders out there who want to stay involved in their baby, in their project, and yet take it to the next level. And I'm happy to be here with you all.
Excellent. Thank you, Gary. Everyone, now having walked through everyone's experience and expertise, we've shown we have proven operators across every growth lever. The team has deep expertise spanning M&A, finance, operations, marketing, and legal, covering every critical function required to acquire and scale consumer brands successfully. This team has a track record of successfully scaling and transforming brands. Our collective experience has driven multi-billion-dollar impact, including revenue growth and integrations across global consumer businesses. Fundamental is built to execute a repeatable, scalable model. We've aligned our leadership team with a shared focus on disciplined execution, operational efficiency, and building a platform that consistently scales $2 to $50 million brands into high growth assets. We believe we've pulled together the best of the best to accomplish these goals. We're now going to talk through some live Q&A, if any, in the chat. So we will take a look at the chat together now.
Looks like there's one, Allison, that we have here. I think probably you can take it. It says, who can investors contact with further questions, and how can they learn more about Fundamental Brands?
So to contact with any further questions, you may reach the Fundamental Brands leadership or investor relations contact directly at our email invest@fundamental-brands.com. Or you can reach us via our contact email at contact@fundamental-brands.com. I also see another question in the chat today. Are the companies that we're acquiring not selling online, and is that one of your criteria? And how can one of these firms exist in 2026? It is quite surprising that some teams have not broken into the D2C online space yet, but it is indeed true that this has happened. So there are many brands we're approaching and that have approached us that have a wonderful retail, wholesale, in-store presence that they have seen great success over the last few decades in that arena. And our team, under my marketing leadership, has been able to successfully bring these brands online, build out their online presence. And as surprising as it is, if it didn't exist already, we are here to do that for them. So it is not necessarily a criteria of brands for our acquisitions, but it is something that we do specialize in and can offer to those acquisitions.
And Allison, I can take the first question there. There's a question here about are we already making royalty payments? And the answer is yes. I think that Scott is drafting up some checks to go out shortly. That is actually one of the unique benefits that our offering has, and that is regular monthly checks for royalties, in addition to the equity that you would retain afterwards. So you have both best words. You have us while we're growing and then when we're up. Those royalty payments are based on when an investor invests, when they actually make their investment, and it go out the following full calendar month. So I think that the May royalties will be going out shortly, and then successively after that on a monthly basis. To follow up on what Allison mentioned about the brands that are not online, some of them are online, but they do not have the expertise or primarily the capital that is required to pump your brand through all of the digital marketing channels and social media channels. And it takes, like many things, it takes money to make money, and that's one of the things. And a lot of these candidates that we look at have reached that plateau. And in order to get to that next one, which requires the online catalyst, we're poised to make that happen for them. So that's really the case.
Thank you, Gary. And one additional note to Gary's point as well, his earlier points, as a teaser, our next webinar will actually be covering our first royalty payments. So at the end of this month, you can expect that to be covered with our team. Those invites will be going out shortly, so please be on the lookout there. There are a couple additional questions in the chat, but we want to make sure we give those the love that they deserve and in-depth responses. So we are getting close to time. That brings us to the end of our session today. You can find the responses to the additional Q&A we didn't get to today on our website afterwards. We will be sending out an email both with this webinar replay, as we noted, as well as a link to the Q&A that we covered today, both live, as well as some of the questions we didn't get to. But thank you everyone so much for joining, and please be on the lookout for that replay to hit your inboxes. We look forward to seeing you next time.